The golden morning light streamed to the high castle windows of Enchantia, filling Sofia's room with a soft glow. Birds chirped outside, fluttering near the balcony as Sofia tied a purple ribbon into her hair. Today wasn't just any day. It was Mother's Day, and Sofia had been planning something truly special for her mom, Queen Miranda. She twirled in front of her mirror, her amulet glinting in the sunlight. "Today's going to be perfect," she whispered. Mom deserves the best day ever. Down by the garden, the palace was already buzzing with excitement. Bailiwick was overseeing decorations. Chef Andre was preparing pastries, and the royal musicians were tuning their instruments for the afternoon celebration. But Sofia had something different in mind, something more personal. "Clover," Sofia said as she gently scooped up her bunny friend, "I want to make Mom the happiest person in Enchantia today. But I don't want it to be just a royal celebration. I want it to come from the heart." Clover munched on a carrot and tilted his head. "So, what's the plan, kiddo?" Sofia smiled mysteriously. A surprise tea party in the royal garden, filled with Mom's favorite things. Lavender tea, rose cookies, and maybe even a little song from me. It sounded perfect. But as every princess learns, even the best plans can have a few surprises of their own. Throughout the morning, Sofia ran around the castle, trying to keep everything secret. She whispered to Amber about decorations, asked James to distract their mom, and got Minimus to help deliver notes to the castle staff. "Quietly, Minimus," she giggled. "We don't want Mom finding out." Amber, with her usual sparkle, took charge of making the tea table shine. "It must look royal," she declared, draping shimmering lilac cloth across the table. "But not too royal. We want it cozy, like home." Sofia nodded. "Exactly. It should feel like when Mom and I used to live in the village. Simple, happy, and full of love." By noon, the garden looked magical. Butterflies flitted among the roses, and ribbons danced in the soft breeze. The smell of freshly baked scones drifted through the air. Sofia's heart swelled with pride as she stepped back to admire the setup. But just then, Bailiwick hurried over, looking concerned. "Princess Sofia, I'm afraid we've run into a little issue. The special lavender tea you ordered. It seems we're all out." Sofia gasped. "What? But that's Mom's favorite." Bailiwick wrung his hands. "I've sent the staff to look for more, but it seems the kitchen used it this morning." Clover gave a small shrug. "Well, that's a pickle." Sofia took a deep breath. "Okay, don't panic. We'll think of something. There has to be another flavor Mom loves." Then she remembered something from long before she became a princess. Back in the village, on quiet afternoons, Queen Miranda used to make a simple drink, honey vanilla tea. It wasn't fancy or royal, but always made Sofia feel warm and safe. "That's it," she exclaimed. "We'll make her honey vanilla tea, just like old times." Clover grinned. "Now that's a plan I can get behind." Sofia rushed to the castle greenhouse and gathered vanilla blossoms herself. She carefully mixed the ingredients, humming softly as she stirred. The smell was sweet, comforting, exactly how home used to feel. When she tasted it, a smile spread across her face. Perfect. Mom will love this. As the garden sparkled in the sunlight, Sofia felt a flutter of excitement in her chest. The surprise wasn't just about tea or decorations anymore. It was about celebrating the bond she shared with her mom. And she knew that no matter how big the castle or how royal their lives would become, that love would always be what truly made them family. The castle clock struck 1, and Sofia felt her excitement bubble like a pot of tea on the stove. Everything was coming together. The table was set, the pastries were ready, and the honey vanilla tea was steeping in the kitchen. All that was left was to keep her mom from finding out before the big reveal. But as every princess knows, even the best-laid royal plans can go sideways. Just as Sofia was about to check on the tea, she heard laughter echoing from the hallway. "Oh, no," she whispered, peeking around the corner. Queen Miranda was walking toward the garden with Bailiwick. "Mom can't see the decorations yet." Sofia gasped. She darted across the hall and nearly collided with James, who was balancing a tray of teacups. "James, quick, you have to stall Mom." "Me?" he said, wobbling under the tray's weight. "How am I supposed to do that? Talk about pancakes. She loves pancakes." Sophia said desperately. James blinked. Right. Pancakes. Got it. He ran off in a rush, leaving Sophia to hurry to the kitchen. Inside, Chef Andre was humming cheerfully as he stirred a pot. Chef, how's the tea coming along? Sophia asked. The chef turned, revealing a deep purple brew. It's ready, princess. Just like you asked, lavender tea. Sophia's eyes widened. Lavender? But I said honey vanilla. Chef Andre frowned. Oh, dear. I must have misheard your note. I thought the lavender shipment arrived. Sophia's heart sank. It didn't. We're out of lavender. And now there's no honey vanilla either. Clover hopped in, his nose twitching. Kid, I think your plan just took a royal tumble. Sophia bit her lip. The tea party was just hours away, and now she didn't have the one thing that made it special. Then a gentle voice spoke from behind her. Sophia? What's all the commotion? Sophia turned and nearly jumped. It was Queen Miranda herself. Her mom stood in the doorway, smiling kindly but curiously. You've been running around all morning. Is something wrong? Sophia froze. She couldn't ruin the surprise, but she also couldn't lie to her mom. So she smiled nervously. Oh, nothing's wrong. Just, practicing tea making. Miranda raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. Practicing tea making? Yup, very important royal skill. Clover said quickly, nodding with mock seriousness. You never know when you'll need emergency tea. Queen Miranda chuckled, shaking her head. Well, I'm glad to see you're learning useful things. Don't forget, it's almost time for our family walk in the garden. Sophia's eyes widened. The garden, that was where the entire surprise was set up. She needed a way to stall her mom for at least another hour. Oh, maybe you should rest a bit before the walk, Mom. You've been working so hard lately. Miranda smiled softly, touched. You're so thoughtful, Sophia. I might just do that. She leaned down to kiss Sophia's forehead before leaving the kitchen. As soon as she was gone, Sophia slumped against the counter with relief. Phew, that was close. Clover crossed his paws. Too close. We need a new plan fast. Sophia thought hard. Lavender was gone. Vanilla was gone. But then she spotted a jar of golden honey and some lemon peels on the counter. Her eyes lit up. Wait a minute. What if we make something new? Something that still feels like Mom. With Chef Andre's help, Sophia mixed honey, a bit of lemon, and a hint of rose petals. The result was a sweet, fragrant blend that shimmered like morning sunshine. She smiled. We'll call it Queen's Delight. Clover sniffed the air. Smells like a royal winter to me. Sophia beamed. The crisis was averted. The surprise was still on. And as she looked out toward the garden, where butterflies danced over ribbons and roses, Sophia knew this was going to be a Mother's Day her mom would never forget, even if things didn't go exactly as planned. After all, sometimes the best surprises come from the heart, and a little bit of honey and hope. By late afternoon, the royal garden shimmered in the golden light of sunset. Sophia hurried down the marble steps, holding a basket full of tiny flowers, ribbons, and a roll of parchment. Her purple gown fluttered behind her as Clover hopped to keep up. Okay, Clover, Sophia said, placing the basket on a bench. The tea is ready. The table looks beautiful, and the guests are arriving soon. But I want to add one last touch, something that shows Mom how much she means to me. Clover twitched his nose. More cookies? Sophia giggled. No, something even better. Memories. She unrolled the parchment and showed Clover a sketch she had made, a small section of the garden filled with flowers, each one representing a special memory she shared with her mom. I'm calling it the Memory Garden. Clover's eyes widened. That's actually really sweet, kid. Sophia smiled softly. Mom always says that memories are treasures we keep in our hearts. I want to turn those treasures into something she can see. She started working right away. With a gentle hum, she planted the first flower, lavender, to represent comfort. When we lived in the village, Sophia said as she dug into the soil, Mom used to make lavender tea whenever I was sad or tired. The smell always made me feel safe. Next came daisies, small, cheerful, and full of life. These are for the times we laughed, Sofia explained. Like when Mom taught me to dance in the kitchen, and we accidentally spilled flour everywhere. Clover chuckled. That sounds about right. Then Sofia planted lilacs, her mom's favorite flower, to symbolize love and home. The garden was filling with colors and fragrances, a living reflection of the bond between them. Just as Sofia was finishing, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned, and there was Princess Amber, her golden gown glittering in the light. "Sofia, there you are. Bailiwick sent me to check if everything's ready." Amber's eyes widened as she took in the sight of the garden. "Oh, Sofia, this is lovely." Sofia smiled, brushing soil from her gloves. "It's for Mom. Each flower is one of our memories together." Amber looked touched. "That's so thoughtful. I wish I'd thought of something like that for Father's Day." Sofia giggled. "You can help me if you want. There's still room for a few more flowers." Amber hesitated, then nodded. "I'd love to." Together, they planted a row of roses, symbolizing strength. "Mom is the strongest person I know," Sofia said quietly. Even when things were hard, she never stopped believing things would get better. Amber paused, looking at Sofia with admiration. "You really love her a lot, don't you?" Sofia nodded, her eyes glimmering. "She's my mom, my first friend, my biggest supporter, and my heart." When the last flower was planted, Sofia placed a small wooden sign at the edge of the garden. In elegant handwriting, it read, "For the queen who taught me how to love like a princess." Amber gasped softly. "Sofia, that's beautiful." Sofia stepped back and looked at the garden. The colors seemed to glow even brighter now, as if magic itself had blessed her creation. At that moment, a gentle breeze swept through the garden, carrying the sweet scent of flowers through the air. The amulet around Sofia's neck shimmered softly, a quiet sign that her love had created something truly special. Clover sniffed the air and smiled. "Well, kid, if love had a smell, this would be it." Sofia laughed, wiping her hands. "Now, let's get ready. Mom's going to be here any minute, and I want her to see everything just right." As the sky turned pink and the candles flickered to life, Sofia stood in her memory garden, her heart full. She didn't know it yet, but what she had planted that day would grow into something far more powerful than flowers, a reminder that love, when shared, never fades. The royal courtyard was glowing softly in the warm evening light when Queen Miranda arrived. Her carriage rolled to a stop, and she stepped out gracefully, her sky-blue gown shimmering as she looked around in wonder. The tables were beautifully set. Fairy lights twinkled between the trees, and gentle music played in the background. Amber and James greeted her first, bowing playfully. "Welcome, Your Majesty," James said dramatically. "We hope you enjoy this most royal tea party." Queen Miranda laughed warmly. "Oh my, what's all this?" Before anyone could answer, Sofia appeared, holding a small bouquet of flowers she had picked from her memory garden. Her smile was radiant, and her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Mom," she said, running up and giving her mother a tight hug. "We planned something special for you." Queen Miranda hugged her back, clearly moved. "Oh, Sofia, you didn't have to." "I wanted to," Sofia interrupted softly. "Everything here is to thank you for being the best mom ever." Miranda's eyes glistened. "Well, now I really can't wait to see it all." Sofia took her hand and led her through the garden. As they walked, she began to explain each flower, the lavender for comfort, the daisies for laughter, the lilacs for love, and the roses for strength. When they reached the little wooden sign at the center, Miranda stopped in her tracks. The fading sunlight bathed the garden in gold as she read the words aloud. "For the queen who taught me how to love like a princess." Her voice trembled slightly. "Oh, Sofia." Sofia smiled shyly. "Do you like it?" Miranda knelt down beside her daughter, tears welling in her eyes. "Sweetheart, this is the most beautiful gift I've ever received. Every flower tells a story, our story." She brushed Sofia's cheek gently. "But do you know what the most wonderful part of this garden is?" Sofia tilted her head. "What?" Miranda smiled. "It's you. You're my greatest joy, Sofia. You remind me every day that love grows when we care for others, just like these flowers." Sophia's eyes sparkled with emotion. You've always taught me that, Mom. Even when I didn't know how to be a princess, you showed me how to be kind first. For a moment, the two of them sat together in the middle of the memory garden, surrounded by color and calm. The world seemed to fade away, leaving only the quiet rustle of petals in the breeze. Then, with a soft chuckle, Miranda said, "Do you remember when we used to go to the village market every weekend?" Sophia giggled. "Yes. You always let me pick out one treat, and I always chose honey tarts." Miranda laughed. "And you always got sticky fingers, no matter how careful you tried to be." They both burst into laughter, the kind that comes from memories so sweet they almost taste real again. Sophia leaned against her mother's shoulder. "I miss those days sometimes. Things were simpler back then." Miranda smiled thoughtfully. "True, but do you know what makes life beautiful, no matter where we are?" Sophia shook her head. "The love we carry with us," Miranda said softly. "Even when everything around us changes, new castle, new people, new adventures, our hearts remember where we began." Sophia nodded slowly, understanding every word. "So even if things get bigger or fancier, the simple moments still matter the most." "Exactly," Miranda said, smiling proudly. "You've learned one of life's most important lessons. The heart of a princess is not in her crown, but in her kindness." Sophia's eyes filled with warmth. "I'll always remember that, Mom." They hugged again, long and tight, the golden light wrapping around them like a soft blanket. The garden seemed to glow brighter, as if the flowers themselves were smiling. Nearby, Amber and James peeked from behind the table, whispering to each other. "Looks like your sister's gift was a success," James murmured. Amber smiled softly. "It's not just a gift. It's a memory that will last forever." And as the stars began to appear one by one, Sophia and Miranda stayed in their garden, talking, laughing, and cherishing the kind of love that no royal title could ever define. The next morning, the castle woke up to sunshine and songbirds. The air was fresh, and the faint scent of jasmine floated through the halls. Sophia was already awake, her excitement bubbling like a pot of tea on the stove. Today was special. She and her mother had the whole day to themselves. No royal meetings, no lessons, no interruptions. Just the two of them. Sophia stood in front of her mirror, tying a light lavender ribbon in her hair. She smiled at her reflection and whispered, "Today's going to be perfect." Just then, Clover hopped in, stretching lazily. "Big day, huh, Princess?" he said, twitching his nose. "Very big," Sophia said, turning to him. "Mom and I haven't had a day like this in so long. We're going to do all our favorite things." Clover grinned. "Well, don't forget to grab some snacks on your way out. You know how moms get when they're hungry." Sophia laughed. "Good idea." Downstairs, Queen Miranda was waiting by the grand staircase, wearing a soft pink dress and her warmest smile. "You're ready early," she said. "I didn't want to waste a single minute." Sophia replied, slipping her hand into her mother's. Their first stop was the royal kitchen, where they decided to bake honey tarts, just like the ones they used to buy from the village bakery. The kitchen filled with laughter as Sophia tried to roll the dough, accidentally dusting herself with flour. Miranda chuckled, brushing a bit off Sophia's nose. "You look adorable, my little chef." Sophia giggled. "And you look like the world's prettiest baker." They mixed, rolled, and shaped the tarts together. When the golden crust finally came out of the oven, the smell was heavenly. They each took a bite, and Sophia closed her eyes in delight. "Still as good as I remember," she said. Miranda smiled softly. "It tastes even better when we make it together." After breakfast, they went to the royal stables. Sophia's pony, Minimus, neighed happily when he saw her. Miranda, who hadn't ridden in years, looked hesitant at first, but smiled when Sophia encouraged her. "You'll be fine, Mom. I'll be right beside you," Sophia said. With a little help, Miranda climbed onto a gentle mare named Daisy, and together they trotted out into the meadow. The wind played with their hair, and wildflowers painted the landscape with color. Sophia and her mother laughed as they rode side by side, the world stretching open before them. They stopped by a sparkling stream to rest, letting the horses drink. Miranda dipped her fingers into the cool water and sighed. "I've forgotten how peaceful it feels out here," she said. Sofia nodded. "It's easy to forget when there's so much going on in the castle." Miranda looked at her daughter thoughtfully. "You're growing up so fast, Sofia. I remember when you could barely reach my hand. And now, look at you." Sofia blushed. "I still need you, Mom. Maybe more than ever." Miranda smiled. "And I'll always be here for you, my sweet girl, no matter how busy or grown-up life gets." As the afternoon sun glowed golden, they lay on a picnic blanket near the meadow, watching clouds drift by. Sofia pointed up. "That one looks like a tiara." Miranda laughed softly. "And that one looks like your brother when he's late for lessons." They both laughed until their sides hurt. When evening began to fall, the sky turned shades of rose and amber. They made their way back to the castle, hand in hand, the laughter fading into a comfortable silence. As they entered the courtyard, fireflies began to flicker to life. Sofia stopped and looked up at the soft evening sky. "Mom, this was the best day ever." Miranda smiled, pulling her into a hug. "It really was. You gave me something I can never get enough of, time with you." Sofia leaned against her mother's shoulder, whispering, "Then let's promise to always make time, no matter what." Miranda nodded, her voice gentle but certain. "It's a promise, my love." The two stood there for a long while, bathed in the twilight glow, knowing that even in the busiest of royal lives, moments like these were what truly made life magical. The next morning, Sofia woke up to the sound of birds outside her window and sunlight streaming across her room. Yesterday's memories still lingered. The laughter, the honey tarts, the ride through the meadows. It had truly been a perfect day. But today felt different. There was something in the air, a quiet excitement she couldn't quite explain. When she opened her door, she found Bailiwick waiting with a polite bow. "Good morning, Princess Sofia," he said with a smile. "Her Majesty requests your presence in the rose garden." Sofia tilted her head curiously. "The rose garden? So early?" Bailiwick simply smiled. "You'll see." Sofia hurried down the halls, her dress swishing softly as she went. The morning sun painted the castle walls golden, and when she stepped into the garden, she gasped. The entire place was filled with blooms, hundreds of roses in every shade imaginable. There were lavender, pink, white, even rare blue ones. And right in the center stood Queen Miranda, holding a small box wrapped in soft ribbon. "Mom, what is all this?" Sofia asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Miranda smiled. "Yesterday was your gift to me, Sofia. Today it's my turn." Sofia blinked in surprise. "For me?" Her mother nodded. "I want to make something that reminds you just how much you mean to me. Not just as a princess, but as my daughter." She took Sofia's hand and led her to a wooden bench under a trellis of roses. The air smelled sweet and fresh, and sunlight danced on the petals. Miranda placed the box in Sofia's lap. Sofia untied the ribbon carefully and opened it. Inside was a delicate locket, shaped like a heart, with tiny carvings of vines and flowers. When she opened it, she saw two small pictures, one of her and Miranda from the day they first arrived at the castle, and another taken just recently. Sofia's breath caught. "Mom, this is beautiful." Miranda smiled gently. "It's enchanted, too. Whenever you feel alone or unsure, it will glow softly and remind you that I'm always with you, no matter where you are." Sofia's eyes shimmered. "You really mean that?" Miranda nodded. "Every word, sweetheart. Being your mother is the greatest joy of my life. You've taught me as much about love and courage as I've ever taught you." Sofia leaned forward and hugged her tightly. "I love you so much, Mom." Miranda held her close, her voice warm and calm. "And I love you, my precious girl. Always." They stayed that way for a moment, the world around them falling quiet except for the soft rustle of leaves and the distant hum of bees. Then Sofia pulled back, smiling through her tears. "I'll wear it every day," she said, fastening the locket around her neck. "And I'll never forget what it means." Miranda brushed a loose strand of hair from Sofia's face. "It means you're never alone. Even when you're facing challenges or learning new lessons, my heart will always be with you. Sofia's smile grew. Just like yours will always be with me. The queen nodded proudly. Exactly. After a quiet moment, Miranda said, You know, when I first married into the royal family, I was worried. Everything felt so big and unfamiliar. But you gave me courage. You made this castle feel like home. Sofia's eyes softened. Really? Miranda nodded. Every time I saw you smile or heard your laughter echo through these halls, I knew we belonged here. Together. Sofia hugged her again, whispering, I'll never stop making you proud, Mom. Miranda smiled. You already have. As they walked back toward the castle, hand in hand, the morning sun glimmered off the golden locket around Sofia's neck. It glowed faintly, not from magic, but from something even stronger, love. Sofia looked up at her mother, her heart full. Thank you, Mom, for everything. Miranda smiled, her eyes warm. You're my heart, Sofia. Always will be. And as they disappeared into the light of the castle halls, the garden remained bright and fragrant, a living reminder of a love that neither time nor distance could ever fade. The day after receiving her mother's gift, Sofia couldn't stop smiling. Every time a morning light caught the little locket on her neck, it glimmered softly, reminding her of that special moment in the rose garden. She touched it gently and whispered, You're always with me, Mom. Down the hall, Queen Miranda watched her daughter from a distance with quiet pride. Sofia had grown so much, not just as a princess, but as a kind, thoughtful young woman. She remembered the day they first moved to Castle, how uncertain everything felt, and how Sofia's open heart had brought warmth to every corner of their new home. That afternoon, Queen Miranda called Sofia to her study. When Sofia arrived, she saw a table covered with scrolls, maps, and colorful drawings. Mom, what's all this? Sofia asked curiously. Miranda smiled. These are plans for the upcoming royal family celebration. It's a special day to honor family, tradition, and love. And this year, she paused with a twinkle in her eye, I want you to help me plan it. Sofia's eyes widened. Really? Me? Her mother nodded. Who better than you, my dear? You brought our family closer than ever. This celebration should reflect that, the heart of who we are. Sofia's excitement lit up the room. Then let's make it magical. They spent hours working together, choosing decorations, deciding on songs, and even planning a play that Sofia would direct with James and Amber. The day flew by in laughter and creativity, with Bailiwick occasionally stepping in to suggest something more proper, only for both of them to giggle and add another idea anyway. By evening, the preparations were complete. The castle was adorned with garlands of flowers, glowing lanterns, and banners painted in soft pinks and golds. The dining hall sparkled under chandeliers, and every seat was filled with friends, royals, and familiar faces from across Enchantia. As the music began, Sofia stood by her mother's side, both of them dressed elegantly, Miranda in a deep sapphire gown, and Sofia in a lilac dress that shimmered like starlight. When it was time for speeches, Miranda stepped forward. Tonight, she began, her voice clear yet gentle, we celebrate not just royalty, but family, the people who make our hearts feel like home. She turned toward Sofia. And I want to dedicate this night to my daughter, Sofia. Her kindness reminds us that love, not crowns, makes a family truly royal. Sofia's eyes welled up, the hall filled with soft applause, and she felt a rush of warmth in her heart. When it was her turn to speak, she took a deep breath and stepped up beside her mother. I used to think being a princess was about wearing pretty dresses and going to royal events, she began, her voice steady but emotional. But my mom taught me it's really about something much more special, care for others, listening, and spreading kindness. She turned to Miranda, smiling through her tears. Mom, you've been my teacher, my hero, and my best friend. Everything I am, I learned from you. The hall grew quiet. For a moment, it was just the two of them, mother and daughter, heart to heart. Miranda reached out and squeezed Sofia's hand. And everything I become, she said softly, is because of you. As the music swelled, Sofia and Miranda shared a dance, slow, graceful, and full of love. Around them, the guests smiled, some dabbing their eyes. Even Amber whispered to James, "They're impossible not to love." James grinned. "Yeah, even when they make us sit through speeches." Amber nudged him, but she was smiling too. When the song ended, fireworks lit up the night sky above the castle, golden bursts that reflected in the palace windows. Sofia leaned her head on her mother's shoulder and whispered, "Thank you for everything, Mom, for giving me the life I always dreamed of." Miranda brushed a tear from her daughter's cheek. "No, my love, thank you for making it even better than I ever dreamed." As they stood together under the shimmering lights, the stars above Enchantia seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the heavens themselves were celebrating the love between a mother and her daughter. And when Sofia finally went to bed that night, she placed her hand over her locket. It glowed faintly, casting a warm light over her pillow. She smiled sleepily and whispered, "Good night, Mom. I love you." From down the hall, Queen Miranda's voice drifted softly back. "Good night, my little princess. Always." And with that, the castle of Enchantia settled into peaceful slumber, held together by love, laughter, and the unbreakable bond of mother and her daughter.